So I think one of the most underrated things about health and fitness is the sheer amount of consistency it takes to get to a very good level.
Yeah.
And initially that you just start out like just doing push-ups or pull-ups. Like I remember I started with 5 push-ups, ended up with 500 during the pandemic. And then in a session, not this
Of course, yeah.
but
Okay.
then it really changed my perspective on what it means to also build like a depth in something and also to stick at it. Like, but I feel like looking back now, I feel like I could have done so many things better. It's like the old wise man, like just looking back, it's like all these kids making them mistakes.
Yes.
But like for beginners, what like let's say yourself as a beginner, okay? What would you have done differently knowing what you know now with health and fitness? Because you've got certification, you've got the body, and you're really also teaching people. So like, what would you do differently?
The first thing I would do would be to go to an experienced coach.
Yeah.
That would be the first thing that I would do, because I remember going to a coach for a few sessions. Pathetic. He didn't know what he was doing.
They never.
He had no idea about, like the program, why we are doing any exercise. And of course, I didn't know any better. So I just went with that flow and ended up getting injured later, and there were a bunch of issues. But for beginners, differently, I would start making my workouts a lot more simpler. Like reducing volume, first thing.
Yeah.
I would do a lot of volume. I would have this
Same.
I would think more is better, and so not just me, but everyone thinks more is better.
Yeah.
But the relationship between the volume and muscle growth is non-linear.
It's load.
Yeah.
Progressive.
So it's the more sets you do, it does not mean that you're gonna grow more muscle with the extra sets.
And another thing, I think people think that they need to feel the burn in order to grow, which I'm kind of like on two minds about, because yes and no.
Yeah.
But more on the side of the mindfulness, like how mindful are you doing the rep?
Yeah.
After I learned about progressive overload and like slow on the eccentric, and how you can do simple movements and you can feel it, but you don't need to fucking die during the set.
Yeah. That's so. Back then, people didn't have enough knowledge about it. They would think the metabolic stress, like doing high amount of reps to feel the burn and feel the pump, grows muscle, but that does not grow muscle. Like that's
my take is similar as well. Like when I started, I feel like if I did one thing right with exercise, which is just stay consistent, just show up.
Correct. Yeah,
and
that's the best thing.
Forget everything else. Forget what you don't know. Forget about results. And I feel like the crossover is so similar to social media as well. Just fucking stick to it. Don't do anything else. Just stick to it. You look like a dickhead, but like it's fine. Like you don't know what to do, and it's fine. And the same with health and fitness. Like show up every day.
Yeah.
The most important core skill, I'd say.
True.
Because what to do is like actually super easy to figure out. And I think the way you suggested to hacking it, where find a good trainer that knows their shit, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
Because see, you want someone who can see your weak spots, like postural issues. It's important to get your posture right first before everything else. Because see, if you have certain issues with your posture, like certain weaknesses in muscles for which other muscles are compensating for, and you're gonna load yourself in with that bad posture, it's only gonna cause more compensations at other muscles.
Right.
And more muscle imbalances.
Yeah.
And that's like the starting point to.
Yeah, and a trainer can like really speed up the learning curve in all of this. Like
Yeah,
so
definitely.
much.
Yes.
Like I remember having to learn all the forms myself, like through YouTube videos, trial and error, fucking months and months of just perfecting the damn bench press. Or like I'd forget about the squats. Squats are just the worst. But I feel like that really covers a lot of base. Like those two are probably the highest leverage in terms of for beginners. Show up and like get somebody that knows their shit when it comes to
Yes.
this.
So if we talk about consistency, like I've been training consistently for the last 3 years now, and if I were to go back to that self, I would get myself a good coach, because this for this whole process that's taken me 3 years, it would probably take somewhere around 2.
Yeah, or even less.
2 or lesser, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. 1.5 or 2. That's
Yeah.
where, and it's a huge difference. Like, that's a huge.